All right, so today we are diving deep, deep, deep into your ambitious plan for a whole podcast series, Mind Matters, Love and Life.
Yeah.
We're talking mental health
Mm-hmm.
and relationships,
Mm-hmm.
uh, a combo that I'm pretty sure touches everyone's life at some point,
Right.
right? Like everybody's got mental health, just like everybody's got, physical health, and it impacts our relationships in ways we might not always recognize or even really understand. Um, so tell me, what made you want to tackle this topic? What kind of stories are you hoping to tell through Mind Matters?
Well, I think it's really fascinating how these two, like you said, these two areas are so intertwined. Your plan for Mind Matters focuses on some common mental health issues. You've got anxiety, you've got depression in there. And, these are not things that just kind of exist in a vacuum, right?
Right,
They
right.
have a ripple effect. It influences how we connect,
Yeah,
communicate with our partners, even our ability to trust,
absolutely.
which is so vital in a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, and you see how it plays out too, because you dedicated like individual episodes to anxiety, AD, depression, which I think is really smart because they can look so different.
Yeah.
Um, what was it about the way that these specific issues like anxiety and depression show up in relationships that really struck you as you were doing your research?
It's the subtlety of it, I think, that's so interesting. With anxiety, for example, it can manifest as these communication breakdowns.
Mhm.
There can be this difficulty trusting your partner, even if rationally, like there's no reason not to.
Right.
Or maybe there's emotional withdrawal. It's not intentional, but you can see how that creates distance, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then on the flip side, you've got depression, which might show up as, emotional unavailability, low energy, maybe even difficulty giving or receiving support. And that can be really tough on the partner who's, on the receiving end of that.
Yeah, because you feel helpless often. Yeah, totally. And I love that you're planning to bring in not just like the expert voice, but you've got a mental health professional like on the lineup,
Yes.
but you're also talking to couples who have personal experience with this,
Yes.
which I think is genius because I mean, let's be real, right? Nobody wants to listen to like a lecture series on mental health. You want those real stories. You want to know like, okay, what can I actually do? What are other people doing? How is this like actually impacting people's lives?
Right. And that's where the aha moments come in too, right?
Totally.
When you hear someone else say, oh my gosh, that's exactly what it's like. And suddenly things click into place.
And you're not shying away from the tough stuff either. You have episodes on communication, on the stigma around mental health, even how relationships fare when mental health is a factor in a breakup, which I think is a really important conversation that we don't have very often.
That's often the elephant in the room, isn't it?
Yeah.
And your plan highlights, the depth and the breadth you're going for with the series because, addressing that societal stigma of seeking help, that's huge.
It's
And you're
true.
giving your listeners the tools to have those difficult conversations, which is so important. And then ending the series on that hopeful note, too, with stories of, recovery, resilience. I mean, that's powerful because it shows that even amidst challenges, there's always a possibility
Yeah.
for healing and growth, both individually and as a couple.
It gives me chills.
Wow.
It's so powerful. Okay, but here's what I'm super curious about. You have this bonus Q&A episode planned.
Yes.
After everything we've talked about, all these amazing guests that you have lined up, what's the one burning question that you think your listeners are going to have?
I think it really boils down to how do we take all of this knowledge, all of these stories, and turn it into action? People are going to be hungry for strategies. How do I support a partner who's struggling? How do I do that in a way that's healthy for both of us?
Yeah.
What are some red flags I should be looking out for? And when do I say, you know what, we need professional help?
That's such a good point.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to have the knowledge, but it's a whole other thing to actually know what to do with it, right?
Exactly.
This whole series just sounds so powerful, and I feel like it's going to be like this incredible resource. It's going to provide real talk for anyone who has ever navigated the ups and downs of love and mental health, which, let's be honest, is probably all of us at some point.
Absolutely.
It's just such a universal human experience.
Yes.
And you've got it structured in a way that feels like so approachable. I love it. I love it. All right, so for our listeners, as you delve into your own relationships and consider the role that mental health plays, think about this. How can you be a source of support and understanding for your loved ones while also prioritizing your own well-being? It's a delicate balance, but one worth striving for.